Welcome to Arlen's Garden, and this is my garden. I'm going to be do a little tour of my garden. I gotta check for my tomatoes. I see some red ones out there, and this is our watermelon. And I think we're gonna get watermelons on this thing. So that was yesterday. That thing wasn't even touching the ground, so things are growing pretty good in our lettuce. My one onion I planted from seed lettuce, it's getting kind of bitter, so it's the last of our lettuce for this year. Our cucumbers are turning good. We just picked some today, but we got a bunch of small ones there. That'll be ready in a couple days. So yeah, the cucumbers are going great. And we got our oregano, basil, and dill. We're going to do a lot of dill pickles this year. And our cantaloupe starting to form fruit. We got lots of bees around here pollinating everything. Another cantaloupe right here. I think there's 12 cantaloupe plants I planted in here, so we got lots to eat. There's the dill and our petunias. We got some tomatoes right here. Right. Beauty. That should be ready. And then we have another one. Two right here. I don't know why these got here awful early, so we're glad for that. But look at that size. This is July the 17th, so we're happy about that. There's more right here. Our potatoes I planted here from our own seed potatoes from last year. 2 rows turned out really good. We had a big rainstorm, 5 inches of rain, and they flattened themselves down, but they're growing. It's getting close to the time when we could pick them. When the plants start drying out, we can start picking our tomatoes. Here is more. There's a big line of tomatoes right here. So it's planted, I think, 11 tomatoes in this line. And you can see the other crops are doing pretty good. Here are I saw a few peppers. No, let's see here. Oh, there we go. That one pepper got water, gets in them. Oh, here's another pepper. Oh, beauty. Look at that. Pull that grass out of there. So we're getting peppers. It was kind of crazy. Look at that, those peppers. Even turning red. No. Oh, nice. Yeah. We're gonna have salsa with our onions, tomatoes, and peppers. So this is part of our salsa, homegrown salsa. Here are my 4 rows of onions. I started these onions in the house in February, so it's just take a look and see how big they're getting. That's like a... looks like 3.5. If you can read that tape measure, it looks like 3.5 inches. Look how big they are. This variety is a mid, you got long day onions for the longer days in the northern country, midday, and then you got short day for the south. The boys in the south, so these are midday onions, and this variety is called candy variety, and it's awesome. It's very sweet, and it doesn't hurt your eyes when you cut into them. So it looks like we got a pretty good crop of onions. I worked hard weeding these things out so they won't get choked out, and trying not to pull out the onions when I'm pulling out weeds. So yeah, it takes a little bit of work, but it's well worth it having your own variety. You can't buy candy onions all the time in the store because it depends the area, your farmers, where they get their onions from. If you look back at I started these in my house, and in February, and I made a video of me planting them. And there's a lot of videos out there that say don't plant them too deep, the bulbs won't grow big. But I planted them, I stick a bolt in the ground or a pencil, and I put the little sprout in the ground, and I put it in pretty far, like an inch or two, or inch and a half, so the sprout would stand up straight without falling over. And they broke out of the ground just fine. I didn't do anything after that to them. The bulb just grew big and pulled itself out. So the roots are down there deep, even though the bulb's showing. So this is a good example of what happens if you just plant your bulbs deep enough for them to stand up. So, and that works best for my growing area. Here are my green beans. I planted 4 rows. Some never germinated, but I got a good stand nonetheless. Lots of blooms there. Lots of blooms, if you can see that. And some grass in the way, that's all right. There's more blooms right there. And did I see a bean? Oh yeah, there's a bean starting in there. So, oh, here's a big one. So these will be ready in 3 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks. So I'll have to clear out the weeds in that, and then I might have 2 or 3 pickings maybe. So we'll see how it goes. Looks like we've got tomatoes right here that they're ready. 2 of them, 3 of them. Pick this one. Yeah, these are, like I say, big beef for slicing. Those are really early, so pretty happy about that, but kind of wondering why. We have a few plants sent off some red tomatoes, but you'll see all the flowering that's going to happen here. It's a big harvest coming up, probably in 3 or 4 weeks. Let me think, sorry. Probably in first week of August. There's all my flower beds over there. Raised beds look good from here, don't they? And the corn, or I mean beans, onions, peppers, potatoes. Next is the corn. I just rotor-tilled in between the rows, and last week I weeded a whole bunch of weeded in between every corn plant as best that I could. And this is what it's looking like. Lots of my tomatoes are right there too, so lots of good stuff here. We're gonna have nice corn on the cob, and pretty self-explanatory. And then we have Roma tomatoes here. These are called super sauce. They get really huge. And then I have a few beets. We're gonna try to can pickled beets. So let's see, there they are. Right here, they're kind of small still, but it's getting kind of warm, so we'll have to see what we're gonna. I planted them kind of late. They're coming up. So this is July, so I don't know what. Oh, there's a nice one. Yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I need to get these watered right after I make this video.